We have the return of Oops All Traps. We get to see some Sacred Beast Lunalight action and for hire too. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more. Somebody's always going to be cooking up something very, very impressive out here. And you know, the TCG to OCG conversion for this was pretty interesting. Now, to convert this back to OCG, I mean, you just cut an impulse and swing back in another Dominus card or something that you're going to need. But basically, you're playing 40 trap cards here in order to basically play your deck as a truly repulsive setting 5 concept. And obviously, I think your win condition is just the Soul of the Supreme King deploying up a Zark, letting you actually have a boss monster that can actually, you know, could technically split apart into other dragons, but I guess we're just not making use of that particular aspect of this, which I think this build needs some work, honestly, but it's a cool concept nonetheless, just to be able to see, you know, the actions that you can take in this game. Next up here, we have Lunalights with Sacred Beast, and honestly, I think that this list is just kind of funny with the little tools that you're able to do, because obviously, you know, we have access to the Sacred Beast cards, kind of make this deck a little bit more consistent. You know, the Orchestrator is a pretty good card, but also when you're getting into the nitty gritty here for this deck, you've guys got a lot of ways to get resources into rotation, whether or not, you know, you would think that it would actually work out. Obviously, you know, we only have to play one of the big boss monsters itself. I mean, if it does come up that you are able to actually get this thing onto the field, then it's just, you know, an extra little towers for you to be able to run through. I also don't like the fact that this list is only playing one Liger Dancer. I definitely would probably want to sprinkle in the extra copy. You've got things in here that you could very easily sift around to make that, you know, change actually happen. Next up here, we get to see the Yummy for Hire deck. Now, multiplying Karibo does, in fact, I think, help this deck out a lot in terms of just where it wants to go on the consistency wall of being able to, you know, try to make things look a little bit better, which is honestly saying a lot, right? Like, when you're getting down to the fundamentals of the way that this deck is actually working, I mean, it should be working out just fine for what you want to see. Also, the Triple Crown in here is very, very nice. You're still getting to see, you know, the yummy stuff actually making a difference in terms of like the board setup and things like that, because, you know, there is a goal to get to these things. Also, shout out to, you know, good old Herald of the Arclight. Probably one of the more annoying little cards that has popped up in more recent times, but I mean, there's a reason why this card is as good as it actually is, you know, and the reason why we don't actually have it here in the TCG. RIP. Next up is some Magical Musketeer Fiendsmith with the Radiant Typhoon package. Yeah, who would have guessed, right? Radiant Typhoon monsters slapped together is full Fiendsmith combo. It might not be the effective method that you want to go about doing things, but, you know, gosh darn it, it is a method nonetheless to be able to work with. I also see that we are playing Dragoonity Luin in here. That's interesting because we can actually get to Georgius. You know, we talk a little bit about Georgius just being a stupid little free card that you can actually access, but okay, I mean, sure, man. We'll take that. Also, the Dookie of Demise for the extra extension summon. This deck, actually being able to look at like the Fiend pile and understand why the deck is able to bridge out the different lines and why you do see these additional lines unfolding is actually kind of nice. Deck actually has some pretty cool extra play lines. Next up, we get to see heroes, and as we know, Masked Hero Fountain is going to be touching down here relatively soon in the TCG, which means every hero player is going to be very excited to be able to add this to their strategy, because this card is going to help out a lot. Good news, though. You only have to pick up one of these. I've not really seen a lot of lists that are choosing to play multiple of these, and that's just fine. All right, it's a free extension. It gets you a mash change, which is everything the deck has, but it is restricted to the once per turn method of working. That's why you don't see additional copies of these coming up within list, which I think is fine. All right, slot in your 1-up. Obviously, we're much further away from having Wing Karibo Saboteur level 10 running around in our game. Once we actually do get to the point of having this card, though, I do think you will see heroes get a little bit more exciting in the way that they're able to actually, you know, make their combo boards and go. Next up, we get to see the Red Dragon Archfiend deck actually kind of showcasing some of the power that it has. But also, we're playing the Archfiend playtime. So also summon a level 7 or lower Archfiend monster from your hand or deck, and if you have an Archfiend ritual monster in your face-up extra deck, you can special summon one of each of the following. Well, special summoning a level 7 or lower Archfiend monster, I could never possibly imagine the possibilities. Oh yes, this is Bone Archfiend access. Okay, that's kind of cool. Also, you get Usurp access, which is actually kind of interesting. Which, I mean, this gets you into an Archfiend trap, and it can be activated this turn, so I guess this does turn this into a starter to get access to the Bone Archfiend. That's actually kind of spicy, actually. I hadn't actually thought about being able to use this package to be able to turn this into a actual setup method for the deck. That's really cool. Next up, we do get to see Alistair and Friends. Now, Alistair having some more additional normal summons in the deck, I think was a very welcoming change. A lot of people were really happy to see, oh, hey, you know, suddenly Invoked is looking a lot more consistent in the way that, you know, you could actually do things. And I agree. It's also, you know, we're only playing 2 copies of Alistair the Invoker itself within the deck, which is not exactly like a terrible thing. It's just, you have to look at the consistency being presented through the lens of the deck, and obviously, you know, having 3 of these is not kind of the game plan right now. It's just go with the 1. It should be good enough to get you to where you need to be. Obviously, you know, you have Crowley himself, which is going to act as Alistair depending on the combo setup that you've got. So I think that's kind of something to look at and to think about, is just, you know, where's the deck going and how is your game plan setting up now. Next up here, we get to see Mind Shuffle shenanigans. And we know how broken and how consistent the Mind Shuffle strategy is, being able to rotate between these rituals. I mean, heck, this deck is so good. You're playing double Black Magician of Chaos now, just because it's going to protect your back row. Obviously, having the back row protection in the Clown Crew deck is going to be pretty freaking stupid, man. Because you want to be able to get all the advantage off of your spells and traps, so you can kind of keep things going. It's also going to ensure, you know, Mind Shuffle is going to be more protective. This is basically defense. This is attack. You know, you're rotating between those modes to make sure that your cards are going to be good. Obviously, this deck gets way better, you know, with the additional tools, you know, when we actually do get the Clown Crew finale here, which will probably up this deck's consistency. You know, we do get the Link, which will actually also help this deck's consistency. It's actually pretty cool just to see, like, these extra tools mattering for the deck's developments. Next up here, we get to see, oh boy, we get to see the Anubis deck with Mind Shuffle. So, hello? What are you doing here? I guess we're playing the Malefic Field spell in here just because we can. Is this just this is just so we can actually get the Malefic Paradigm Shift into play. That's pretty interesting. Huh. And then obviously, you know, getting access into the Malefic Dragon. That's really, really cool. Just free access to place this to get another trap monster up and running on the field. Huh. I had not actually thought of that. That's actually really, really cool. Interesting. Well, I guess the more you know in terms of initial setup and power, was definitely, I guess, especially like if you're looking at some of these concepts too, it's actually really, really cool. Wow. Hey man, the trap decks are pretty cool. And then we have, speaking of traps, this is where you pick up your extra deck, throw it on the floor, your opponent then cries as they have to pick up their extra deck and throw it on the floor, and then you DD Dynamite, win the game. It's a really funny concept. Also, you know, it's not like you can't just take your opponent's entire extra deck away from them for a turn and just be able to laugh at them. I mean, this is just the reality we live in now. This deck, I mean, obviously we don't get the level of, like, craziness that this deck is, because, you know, Triple Card Demise is great on their side of the game, but, you know, it's cool. So lots of interesting little things today. But please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.